and fresh and exciting and different. There they are. They were there all the time. What, you didn't see them? It took me 4 tries to say mutuality. Hi, I'm Sock Marionette, doing business as bargain counter argument, and I'm a middle-aged lady in a tiara talking about books. So, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Happy Thursday to those who don't. If you're in college, you're probably on a break, but you do know that Thursday is the new Friday. If you live in Iran, Thursday I think is roughly equivalent to Saturday, so, you know, there's lots to enjoy whether you celebrate this holiday or not. I just finished Vlogmas yesterday. I was having so much fun with Vlogmas that I decided to pivot to the 12 Days of Christmas. As you can see, I have an ornament collection for that. So I'm considering 12 days in the more historical sense as the 12 days of Christmas that start on the 25th of December and go until January 5th, the day before Epiphany. Epiphany was the day that the 3 kings or wise men arrived to give little baby Jesus the gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I think traditionally that was when people exchanged gifts in the past. I'm not entirely sure about that, so don't use me as a citation in a paper. So I'm going to be doing this, and every day I'm going to start the way I did with Vlogmas, with a weather report. It is overcast and a bit chilly outside, not unusual for Connecticut in December. And the earworm of the day is 12 Days of Christmas. And each day I'm going to start with removing one of the gold ornaments from this tree. There's a link in the description for the video where I talk about those ornaments. So I'm going to remove one of those and put on one of my 12 Days of Christmas ornaments. So we're starting off by removing this ornament. This is a Christmas tree, and it's gold plated, and it's 2 flat pieces that have been crossed to make for a more 3-dimensional image. And what's going on the tree? Well, the first day of Christmas, a partridge in a pear tree. Look, we have pears on a tree, and look at that partridge. Pretty bird, pretty bird. There we go. Today's video is going to be the Christmas Day on BookTube tag, which was created by the Accidental Bookseller. Definitely check out his channel. Good stuff there. And I only found out about this a couple of days ago, but he posted his video for the tag like several weeks ago. The idea was that you would go out, buy some books, and record a haul that you would post on Christmas Day so that people who have a lot of downtime on Christmas Day and maybe want to watch some BookTube content, some book hauls, will have something to see that's new and fresh and exciting and different. And so I actually recorded this video a couple of weeks ago, and I just haven't posted it yet, and it seemed like this would be a good opportunity. I did not buy these books specifically with this video in mind. However, I buy books is just like one of those things that I do. It's a common behavior for me. So I had it, so why not? There was also a spending limit. He said, don't spend anything more than £50. You didn't have to spend £50, but don't spend any more than that. That would be about $67 US. And these books I got at a bookstore, at a used bookstore. So they are, I think I spent about $53 US. And so I came in under the limit, and I went to one of my favorite used bookstores, the Book Barn in Niantic, Connecticut. And I have a bumper sticker from there, as you can see. I'm not a hoarder, I'm a hero. I rescue books trapped in the bookstore, and if you want to go to their website, it's kind of fun. I have another favorite used bookstore here in Connecticut, Penny's Bookshelf. She mostly does mass markets, and I actually posted a haul that I did at her store fairly recently, so I will post a link for that in the description box. And so links galore, so many links, all the links. I was thinking I had covered everything. And the other thing on the tag, the other requirement for the Christmas Day on BookTube video was that you wear something festive. He suggested a Christmas jumper, which we in the US would call a sweater or a pullover, and mostly sweater. And I didn't do that. I don't have a Christmas sweater. I am wearing this nightgown, which is bookish, and I just got this about an hour ago from my mom for Christmas, so that's pretty festive and bookish. And during the video itself, I am dressed festively. There is a tree in the background, so hopefully that'll be enough to fulfill that requirement of having something that's a little Christmassy, a little festive. So yeah, so thank you very much for checking this video out. I will chapterize it so you can skip to the parts that are most interesting to you, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. So for myself, I got Ohio by Stephen Markley. which is, I think it's like horror adjacent. I set everything up except my glasses. There they are. They were there all the time. What, you didn't see them? Okay, this is place in 2013 in Ohio. It actually, I think, was published in 2018, I want to say. Yeah, 2018, Stephen Markley. And you have 4 former high school classmates. And there's an activist, an academic, an Iraq War veteran, somebody who's just described as beautiful and fragile. Anyway, they come together, and apparently one of them had a boyfriend who disappeared in high school, so that's kind of like where they're coming from. And it's set over the course of a single evening, and it toggles between the perspectives of these unforgettable characters as they unearth dark secrets, revisit old regrets, and uncover, and compound, bitter betrayals. Before the evening is through, these narratives converge masterfully to reveal a mystery so dark and shocking it will take your breath away. So I'm getting like thriller vibes. This, I should have saved this for last, but this is where I found it. It is where it was in the progress of my shopping trip, because this is kind of a jewel of the crown. And that is a book by an author I like, and it's a book I've been keeping an eye out for in libraries, but just haven't seen it yet. And now I have my own copy, and that is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I should be holding these over here. That's why I had that blank space there. It's a gorgeous hardcover, and it even has some really cool sprayed edges. You can see where you have a burning page of a book or text or manuscript or something. So this is, like I said, I use Julie Clark. I wouldn't call her an auto-buy exactly, although I saw this book and I bought it. She's more like, I will definitely keep an eye out for her stuff at the library and or at a used bookstore. In June of 1975, the Taylor family shatters in a single night when 2 teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975. Also, while I was at the main Book Barn campus, I haven't removed the price tags from these yet. I was looking to fill in a middle grade series I have, which is Among the Hidden, is the series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. So I picked up book 3, book 4, and the conclusion. So we have Among the Betrayed, which is book 3, Among the Barons. Let's see if I can do this so you can, which is book 4, and Among the Free, which is the conclusion. I believe this is book 7. So I think I'm still missing 1, maybe 2 of these, but I do have the first 4 now. So, you know, if I want to start it, I won't have to like read one book and then be like, what happens next? Should I just skip to the 3rd or 4th book? Because, yeah. Anyway, a little bit of a break there because I had more clips on my phone than I realized. So I ran out of storage and I'm back now. Now, one last book from that main campus. They have a section called Dollar Dollar Books, which is where they have dollar books. Now, all of their mass markets are $1, no matter what section they're from, and the dollar books section has mass markets, but it also has some other books in different genres, hardcovers, trade paperbacks that weren't selling, so they put them in the dollar books section. And one of the things they have there, although the romances are usually at Book Barn downtown, they have a whole bunch of Harlequin intrigues there, because normally they don't take category romances, but I think they did in this case. Maybe somebody didn't realize what they were, or they were doing a favor to somebody or whatever. So they don't have them downtown because they just don't have the space for that kind of thing. Although I will say that downtown you will occasionally find reissues and Harlequin historicals just integrated in with the other historical romances. I'm not normally a huge Harlequin intrigue person, but this one kind of looked compelling. It's Hunting a Hometown Killer by Shelley Bell. And this is a FBI special agent. His biggest clue to the identity of the composer is the music that the killer has tattooed on each dead woman that I guess he killed. Anyway, no one knows the tune until Julia Harcourt recognizes it as a piece she's written herself. So, and she also looks like the victims. So that's the investigation, and romance ensues because it's Harlequin intrigue. Okay, so those are the ones I got at Book Barn downtown. And I mean at Book Barn, the main campus. And then I went to Book Barn downtown. So I went in there and I went through, they have a whole section that's mass market romances, and some of them, the vast majority are historical, but some are contemporary, or at least contemporary to when they were written. And I got this one by Penny Jordan, The Hidden Years. I think there is a romance plot to it, but it's very long. It's a bonkbuster. It's more like women's fiction in the vein of like Judith Krantz. This came out, I believe, in 1991 or 1992. 1990. And it is about a woman who has spent a lifetime running from the past, from the mother who kept her at a distance, the father who resented her, and the heartache of unfulfilled love. And now she finds out stuff about her family's secrets and past, and that has an impact on her present. And so that's the kind of thing I do like to read. In fact, I might have read this back when it came out, but I don't remember because that was over 30 years ago. And then this one, all my reading glasses seem to break at once. The lens just fell out of this one because there's a break there. I could edit this out. I'm not going to because real life. I'm back. There was an editing break because I had to actually throw the others away and retrieve these. Anyway, so this is also a contemporary romance. 2018 by Catherine Center, How to Walk Away. It's about a woman who is... she has a dream job, a fiancé she adores, and the promise of a picture-perfect life just around the corner. But since this is a book, you know that that's illusory. Then suddenly, on what should have been one of the happiest days of her life, everything she worked for is taken away in a brief, tumultuous moment. She wakes up in the hospital, and she has to go through extensive physiotherapy. Her fiancé is Chip, who wallows in self-pity while simultaneously expecting to be forgiven. Her sister shows up after pulling a 3-year vanishing act. And then there's Ian, her physical therapist, the one the nurses said was too tough for her. Ian, who won't let her give in to pity and who sees her like no one has seen her before. Okay, so those are the contemporaries. Now it's time for the historicals. I have a couple of time travel romances. I do enjoy my time travel romances. And one, I just kind of bought it because it was time swept, and then now I realize there may be some stuff that I don't necessarily want to read because this is kind of iffy. A Love Through Time by Marty Jones. And this is actually, she is a modern day tree surgeon, and modern day in this context is 1994. And she ends up, she falls out of the oldest tree. She falls out of the oldest oak tree in Fort Pickens, Florida. And she ends up in the 19th century. She meets Geronimo, and an army captain whose devastating good looks tempted her even while his brusque manner made her want to wring his neck. He is driven by his need for vengeance against the Apaches. I sometimes, the early 90s, they were trying to be better about Native American representation than they had been in the past, than media had been in the past, but sometimes it's still a little dodgy, so I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay, I had to stop and clear my storage again. The next time travel historical I got was Grand Design by Karen Fox. And this is part of a 5-book series about a place called the, Chesterfield Hotel, which is located in a place called Hope Springs. I don't know what state that is in. I hope it's kind of like Hot Springs in Arkansas. I've been there. It's beautiful. The whole series is about a hope chest at the hotel. And I guess throughout the 5 books, 5 main characters get into the hope chest, find an artifact, and then they end up traveling through time. And in this case, this woman is already fascinated by somebody named Prince Dmitry Karakov, who died at the hotel in well, it just says he died at the hotel. And she finds an artifact related to him in the Hope Chest, and she ends up back in time in 1887, and she determines that in order to get back to her own time, she has to save his life. Then just 30 years or so later, the Russian Revolution. I don't know if that's going to be a factor in the story. Next up we have, this is from the series Legendary Lovers, or at least that's how it's branded, by Lesko, Prince of Thieves. And this is from 1998. This is by Sarah Dawson. And she is unwilling to relinquish her prosperous estate and marry a man she despised. Lady Mariana was dispatched to the now occupied land of her kingdom's ancient enemies. She meets, it's kind of a Robin Hood retelling. She meets sort of a Robin Hood analog, and passion ensues. And actually there's a clinch on the back. But either way, he's not wearing a shirt. Maybe it's wash day. Anyway, so then let's see. 2 books by Cynthia Dane from 2001, and the book is called The Marriage Bed. Cynthia Dane. It started with a kiss, an explosion of longing that could not be contained. He was a young knight bent on winning his spurs. She was a maiden promised to another man. Theirs was a love that can never be. And now it's years later, and he's a monk, and they're hanging out together, and I'm sure there's all kinds of forbidden yearning. And then also by Claudia Dane. That was from 2001. This one is from 2002. And this is 1155. I think the other one's also 1155, but I wasn't able to ascertain that right away. The Willing Wife. And this is about a woman who has been married 4 times, and her husbands were all kind of duds. I'm not sure. I'm guessing she was widowed 4 times as well, because that's how you stopped being married in those times. She had 4 arranged marriages. They kind of were not great, but she's hoping that this one will be okay. The MMC, the male main character, he's expecting a timid girl in need of gentle wooing. What he found was an experienced lover whose obvious indifference to his romantic legend challenged him to bring any response, out of her disturbingly tempting body. So she says nothing had compared Nicola for a mate who actually meant to stay, a companion who really wanted to know her thoughts, a bed partner who shockingly sought to bring her pleasure. So it sounds like she's actually found one who's not a total dud. I'm looking forward to reading about them discovering mutuality in marriage. It took me 4 tries to say mutuality. I am a speaker of words. Finally, from the historicals, we have a Western Gothic. I do like that. This is The Captured Bride of Aspenwood by Peggy Darty. This is in Colorado. It was published in 1992. And so she's staying at Aspenwood Abbey, a frightening place built into the mountains and surrounded by dark forests of spruce and pine. And so it's just like there are strange scratchings at the door. I'm guessing it's not the local raccoon population. Sometimes trash pandas get on the roof of the porch, which is right next to my bedroom, and I feel like it's coming from inside the walls. And it's just raccoons scurrying across the roof. The wind howled among the eaves. So there's an ancient Aspenwood curse. So those are the mass markets. And now from the science fiction section, Radiance, a novel by Catherine M. Valente. And this is from 2015. And it takes place in kind of an alternate universe. Film technology is not as advanced as other technology. So they're traveling among the stars, but films are still like in their infancy. So it's about a filmmaker, and she is investigating the disappearance of a diving colony on a watery Venus. So it's an alternate universe where the planets of the solar system are populated and so on. So it sounds like it kind of maybe harks back to the early science fiction serials, and I would enjoy reading that. I do like those. Now the last 3 books are from the horror section. We have Dark Debts by Karen Hall. And this is kind of like, I'm not sure exactly what it's about because most of the jacket copy is just hype and telling me Karen Hall is like an awesome person. And she does actually sound pretty interesting. She worked as a television writer on MASH and Hill Street Blues and I'll Fly Away and Northern Exposure and all kinds of stuff. And it's a story of faith confronting evil in Atlanta and Los Angeles with a sexy Jesuit priest, a reclusive Southern writer, an obsessive newspaper reporter, a family secret, and So I thought I'd give it a shot. This is from, I believe, 1996. Indeed. Rooms by Lauren Oliver. This is about a dude just died. He left behind his country house full of rooms packed with the detritus of a lifetime to his alienated family, his bitter ex-wife, his troubled teenage son, and his unforgiving daughter. And there are 2 long dead and restless ghosts in this, so it's a ghost story. 2014. Okay, and then this one is a complete trilogy called Last Man Standing by Keith Taylor. And I was showing all of these books off on Midweek Motivation, which is my Wednesday 2 p.m. Eastern live stream. And I was saying, I'm pretty sure this is self-published. It's copyright 2019. And I was saying it's very interesting because there are 3 novels in here. There aren't any page numbers. And one of the live stream participants were like, no page numbers? That would drive me nuts. And I'm like, I think it might drive me nuts, but I'm not sure because I've never encountered that before. I just don't know. So those are the books I picked up in Book Barn in Niantic. Thank you so much for your attention. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm not the boss of you, and I hope you have a good day or night.